are from Chile now.
5 countries in.
Yeah. So last time we left, we were just heading off to a place called Potosí, and that is a little mining town. We were only staying there for like a night, but the hostel that we had this like man running it, who was really, really lovely.
Yeah, he was a really nice guy.
Yeah, and they had like heaters and everything, so it was nice and toasty.
It was really warm.
And we got our tour of the mine from like the actual hostel.
It was like an actual working mine, so although it was a tour, it wasn't like a museum, it wasn't like where tourists walk around. You actually went into the real mine. As soon as we walked in, I was a little bit scared because I'm a bit scared of caves, like getting through small cave spaces. And as soon as we walk in, we walk about 100 metres, and then he's like, quick, 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 quick. So we all running, and he's like, jump right. So then we all have to stay on like the right hand side, as then, like, we were never too close, but like 20 seconds later or something, a big truck, like what do they call carts?
Wagon.
Like on a little train track where they have in caves, mines, coming through with all the stuff really fast, people running through it. So like, if you get hit by one of them,
they were 2 tons worth of stuff that these like young lads are just pushing,
running like through.
Yeah, it's so scary, and the spaces are really small, and there's just people at some point just using like pickaxe and hammer, and you have to like lie on your belly and crawl through just to get to these spaces. And the boys are like sweating, they're absolutely boiling hot, and we kept asking different people all the way through the tour, like, how many years have you been doing this, when did you start, and how old are you, and things like this. And a lot of them had started when they were like definitely under 16.
Yeah, this one lad, he'd been working there 2 years, he was 15 with his dad, and he said it was tradition, if your dad died in the mine, you had to work in the mine.
Yeah,
like it's tradition.
So we bought like presents and things to give them, like drinks, and you give them like sticks of dynamite for them
we
to
actually
like,
bought dynamite from the shop to give to the miners,
just for them to like blow some of the side of the mountain. But it was one of the best things that I think that we've done.
It was. I was completely scared the whole time, and that sort of made it more exhilarating. Like, I was terrified, but it did make it. It made it more interesting, more fun in a way. Even though I was scared, I was happy to get out, and as soon as I got out, I was relieved, but I was like, that was amazing. But still happy to be out.
Yeah, it was just really eye-opening, because it wasn't very nice being in there.
No.
And you thought, these poor men are doing this like day in, day out.
And the maximum they earned a month was like about £700 a month.
Yeah.
Maximum. That's like on a really, really good month, probably, if you're working 20 hours a day.
Yeah, and that is quite a good wage for Bolivia, but you think there's absolutely no way on earth I'd be in there for a whole day.
No.
For anywhere near that.
No.
So
I wouldn't do one day for £700.
No. And it is so heavy as well, the stuff that they're pushing. So
we were in there for about 2.5 hours, so it was a long time, so we did see a lot. It was good.
Yeah, so it was one of the best things. But there was this really annoying girl on there who was just like shouting about how poor South America is and how shocked she is that people from South America can even travel, and
she
was
said it
just
really loud
arrogant
in front of anyone and everyone, and we were getting so annoyed. And we were walking, and then these 2 other girls who were on the tour, Charlie caught her speaking to her mate, like, I was telling her, like, I wish she'd shut up. And we just looked at each other, and all 4 of us were laughing, like, I wish she would shut up. She was really rude, like, she just didn't care who was listening, and I don't even think she knew she was rude. She was just really ignorant and
not so good. But it was still a good experience despite that girl.
Yeah.
So then from there we had we stayed like that night and the next day, and then we left to get a bus to go to uni, which is where you can go to the salt flats. So it was only like 4-hour bus, was it? 4.5 hours?
Yep.
And the bus. We got to our accommodation, and they'd told us that because we got there late, even though there was no time that we had to be there, they'd just like...
We arrived at like 10 p.m. and they said, because you got here after 6, we didn't think you were coming, so your room's gone. Because we booked a private room because it was late, so we didn't want to be waking people up when we got there.
And they were just a little bit rude in that one, so to go from...
They basically said it's your fault because you came here late, and we're like, well, not really, it's your fault because you gave our room away when we were here.
But yeah, so we'd gone from a really nice hostel owner to not so nice hostel owners, but again, we were only there one night, and then that morning we went and booked our salt flats.
Which was really, really good. We just arrived back.
We thought it was going to be absolutely freezing, so we've been preparing and buying like everything warm.
Yeah, jumpers, hats, gloves.
Yeah.
And every time you say, oh, how was uni? Everyone goes, oh, it's cold.
Yeah.
So we went and we were fully prepared of being really cold. First day, I got sunburned on the salt flats.
Yeah.
It was really hot. It must have been reflecting off all the white. So it was really, really, really hot.
Yeah.
At night, it did get chilly.
Yeah. The first day we went to like a train cemetery, which was when Bolivia used to have the Pacific, like they used to have parts of the Pacific coast before Chile stole it off them. They used to export all of their like mined minerals over to the UK, and the UK in return gave them free trains.
They said, yeah, we'll give you all these trains and you just give us those minerals. And they said, yeah, that's a great deal.
Because they thought
shook hands on it.
They thought trains were like upper class
rocket ships, he said, like,
but
at the time.
Really the UK was just completely exploiting them and taking all of this silver and gold and just screwing them over by giving them
minerals were worth
trains.
Much more than the trains.
So eventually they didn't use the trains anymore once Chile had took the Pacific coast off them. So these trains are now just left abandoned, so you can go take pictures and things on them. And then from there we went to the flags, which are like flags on the salt flats. It's meant to be all different countries. So we went to go and find England. There was no England flag.
Or British flag.
So then there was no
British.
Then there was no Scotland, nothing. So we were like, no, there's none. And we got nothing to even take a picture near. So we saw a Irish flag, which Siobhan, Irish. And then there was one next to it which we thought was Japanese, and since I always get told I look a bit Chinese, I was like, that'll do for me. So we stood next to what we thought was this Japanese, it's actually Korea, but Japanese flag and Irish flag, and I kept dropping my phone and like get my phone all muddled up.
Selfie stick wasn't working.
Yeah, and we were taking ages, and there was these two Japanese people
Korean.
just turned up, no Korean, just staring at us, like giving us the worst evils ever because I'd stole their flag to take a selfie near.
And Charlie actually took a picture of them. Was it even on purpose?
Yeah.
So she took a picture of them and they looked pissed off waiting for us to get off their flag because we're clearly not Korean and they wanted a picture.
Yeah, so they were too impressed by our lack of selfie skills taking the picture either. So then from there we went to the salt flats.
Which was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you just turn around and everywhere you see is salt flats.
Yeah.
It was.
And you could take really good pictures, and the guy took really good pictures. He's going to send us
a little
them.
video as well. Like, well, I'm sure you'll see them.
Yeah.
But it was really fun.
And then that night
a lot of driving
was quite a nice hostel. A lot nicer than we thought. A lot warmer than we thought.
Food was nice. Company was nice.
Yeah. Next day then we did a lot of driving, but we just read while we were driving. And went and saw different sites, and they were all unbelievable.
Different lagoons and different like deserts and mountains and volcanoes, and it was just gorgeous everywhere you went.
And then that night it was meant to be like a 2-star hotel compared to the 5-star, so we were expecting absolutely horrendous.
But it wasn't that bad. No. Like, the bed seemed just the same, just as warm. It might have been a little bit colder in there and a little bit more basic, but we were expecting like concrete slabs.
Yeah.
So it was, or outside or something.
Yeah. So
it was fine, apart from the electricity went off. So the electricity there was no electricity in the whole place.
Yeah.
But that was after dinner, so it wasn't too bad. And then you could visit a hot springs. So we were all excited with hot springs. Everyone was a bit cold. It was like 4,500 meters high. So there was snow everywhere, and it was really cold and windy up there. But the hot springs was about 300 meters away. It felt like forever walking down in our flip-flops.
Yeah.
Had our bathing seats underneath, but then you had to take your tracksuit off and actually get into the hot springs.
It was so cold.
We went into the first one, which wasn't actually that warm. Like, it was warm, obviously, because it was cold outside, but it wasn't that warm. The second one was boiling hot, absolutely lovely. But then having to get out, like, was horrible.
Yeah,
we had to walk back in the dark. Oh, it was awful.
It was quite cold then. That was probably the time when it was cold. And then the next morning we got up and we were heading to Chile, so we had like a shorter tour and we had to go to the border, and we were wrapped up, but I've never been that cold.
We had to wait outside the car, and we were even higher. But it's still 4,000 odd meters. We went the gazers as well at 5,000 metres.
Oh yeah.
We actually hit 5,000 metres, and we went to see I stayed in the car because it was too cold.
Yeah.
And there was like gazers with hot water, hot steam coming out at 5,000 metres from the volcano,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. But today we had to wait outside for the bus for about half an hour.
And it's actual snow.
It's
in the desert, and it's like
snow in the desert.
absolutely crazy because it's so high up, and it was so windy, so cold. We had to wait for ages to do the border crossing. So when we even got in the bus on our way into Chile, we were just like thawing out. We were absolutely freezing cold.
And there was one boy who was sat with his head in his hands, just his feet must have been like burning, or you know, when it goes to so cold, they're burning. He was not in a good way, poor lad.
Yeah. But then we finally got here, and it's a lot lower down, and it's in the desert, so it's so much warmer.
It's actually really warm.
It's really nice, and we're in Chile, so.
But we haven't showered, not last night, the night
Another
before,
shower.
because there was no showers to get. We have been in the hot springs though, but we
we've
need
not
a shower,
showered.
and we need to do our washing because we've got no clean clothes
No.
and no clean bodies.
And because we used our towels and our like ice boards, because we left them out to dry and they just froze.
They actually
basically.
froze. Charlie came back from the hot springs with icicles at the back of her hair where it had been wet. It was that cold.
That's how cold it was. So we can't use our towels. We're waiting for clean towels and then we're going to shower. So this is probably the dirtiest we've been in any of our updates, but there you go. And so these next few days we're going to spend some time in like the desert around North Chile, and then it's going to be going on a bit of a adventure for our last 4 weeks.
Oh, when we were in the Bath Springs, we did see amazing stars. You could see the Milky Way.
Yeah.
It was actually amazing, and I seen about 5 shooting stars in an hour.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And we're going to do a bit more stargazing while we're here, so we'll update you and hopefully get some pictures and things as well. But we will speak to you all soon. Love you all a lot.
Love you loads. Miss you.
Bye. 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 Bye.